Hello, everybody. Welcome to Too Much TV. Today, Jeff and I are mixing it up, and we're not doing House of the Dragon anymore, but we're talking about Ted Lasso. I think how we're going to structure this is discuss the first 3 seasons a little bit, and then for about 10 minutes, I'd say, and then we'll do the rest of the episode on the next 2 episodes. Now, for context, I just finished watching all the episodes. I think I started about 3 weeks ago, and I literally watched like the last 3 episodes of season 3 today, and then I watched 2 episodes of season 4. So I am all Ted Lasso right now, and
Nice.
I know it's very, very popular. I think it won an Emmy for best comedy series, and I really see why it's popular, man. It's when it's great, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not perfect, but it in the moments where it shines, it truly shines. Like at the end of the third season, dude, I got a little teary eyed, like
Oh,
legitimately.
buddy. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Same here.
so sentimental, and sometimes it plucks at your heartstrings too much. But when it's done right, it's done so well, and I think what it does is so difficult to do. I don't
Mhm.
know. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say Ted Lasso as a show for me has kind of the same effect that Ted Lasso, the character, has on people. It
Sure.
kind of it grows on you over time. It
Yeah.
takes a little bit to warm up to the humor and some of the kind of cheesy stuff. And
Who
a
he
lot of
is.
his lines, his humor is designed to be that way. It's supposed to catch you off guard and kind of let your guard
It's
down a little bit.
disarming.
It is disarming, yeah, but it takes a little while. And I'll say, just as a viewer of most shows in general, I'm not afraid to admit I'm a pretty cynical person. I think you've been my friend for a
Bro,
long time.
buddy.
Yeah.
Me too,
Y-
but dude.
Yeah, I think we
Come on.
both can be from time to time, but I definitely think of myself as a pretty cynical person. But I think what's beautiful about Ted Lasso is I watched it, and for the I would say first handful of episodes, it took a little while for me to appreciate it. But once it chipped away at some of those walls and I let my guard down a little bit and I let myself enjoy the show, it is fantastic. It will win
Yeah.
you over like almost no other show can. It's pretty impressive that way.
You know what it is, dude? It's a warm hug.
Yeah.
It's really, really sweet. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that there are moments where Ted, I mean, his little sayings and phrases that he has, it's sometimes so bad that I almost have to pause it and be like,
Yeah.
this is so uncomfortable to watch.
What did I tell you before you watched? I said there are going to be scenes that make you want to look away from the screen, right?
When it
Isn't
happened
that
multiple
true?
times. Oh, yeah. But eh, the warmth of the overall show is really, really good. But what I like about it most is that it's not. Oftentimes, a show that's really warm like this is is prudish and childlike and kiddish.
Kitty, yeah, like designed for kids.
Exactly. But this show is clearly designed for adults because I mean, there's not a lot of sex in it, but there's a ton of foul language,
Yeah.
and that I think really sets it apart because it's definitely made for adults, but it deals with its subject matter in such an optimistic way that you're surprised it's for adults almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has a really healthy way of approaching some pretty serious issues that don't make it feel too heavy.
Yeah.
Like there are some really serious things that the show addresses, but it
Mhm.
never makes you feel like you're being suffocated by it for the most part. I know they probably go a little too far every once in a while, I would assume you would think, but
Yeah,
I think for
but
the
it's
most
just
part,
a
they do a good
toe.
job.
It's just a
Yeah.
toe over the line. It's never like smacking you over the face with it. I never really rolled my eyes at any of the sentimentality the entire
Right.
time. I rolled my eyes
Yeah.
at some of the joke because Ted can be kind of cringy sometimes, but it is charming at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I will say I mean, obviously I've seen the whole show in 3 weeks now. One of my favorite episodes is the one where um the gay character Colin, he like his friend, I think Isaac McAdoo, finds out that he's gay on his phone, right? Because they want to delete the pictures of all that stuff. And he looks at it and he gets mad. And Colin thinks that it's because he's gay. But no, it's actually because Colin didn't tell him, like a
Right.
friend. Why didn't you tell me, man? And then they leave the game, or they don't play well in the game. And this guy in the stands, and he calls them like that they're playing like faggots, but
Yeah.
you never hear that word.
Right.
And I know that was graphic, but it was done in a way where you knew exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't have to say it. I mean, I know I just did, so sorry about that. But I couldn't think of a clever way to get around that. But it I don't know, man. You really get everyone's perspective in this show.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think very optimistically about people in a way that I cannot think of any other show doing.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job of showing characters who seem to really care about each other. The example that you gave is a perfect one, right? They're not always
Mhm.
the best at expressing it, or even like they have unique ways of expressing it, like Isaac
Yeah.
does in that episode. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, what they really drive home well is that the characters care a lot about each other. So it kind of goes towards the point of, even if you have differences, like Isaac is a very different person. Remind me his name again one more time. The other
Isaac
character.
McAdoo.
No,
Colin.
Colin. Yeah, Isaac and Colin are kind of different people that way, but they
Mhm.
obviously Isaac cares a ton about Colin,
Yeah.
and it's shown through his actions and the way that they end up communicating towards the end of that episode too. It's
100%.
just very clear, like how much they kind of work around their differences really well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's part of the beauty of, like, I think the character of Ted is written pretty incredibly, honestly,
Mhm.
because he's got it's a funny way of addressing certain issues. He kind of has a weird roundabout, like very kind of southern charm way of
Mhm.
through jokes and humor and
Yep.
stuff. But
Yep.
he tends to drive home some really good points through some of his metaphors and kind of quirky jokes and stuff like
But,
that.
and also what's great, he is not perfect by any
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
In the first season, he goes through that divorce. And it's just like, how would you divorce a man like Ted? But then it's not his fault. And like the lesson in that episode was like, sometimes this shit just happens.
Hmm.
And it's no one's fault, really.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
shitty situation. And then it
Yeah.
goes even deeper with the relationship with his dad, which is a revelation halfway through season 2. The whole concept of him distrusting a therapist because in a weird way, he is a therapist to people.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why? It seems like a massive contradiction, but it just shows that he's really, really complicated. But you're right. Everyone in the show has such unique relationships. And there's a lot of like, I'm sorry in the
Hmm.
show. I messed up.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of forgiveness too. I mean, season 1, Rebecca, who's one of my favorites, gets really, really angry at Higgins for Rebecca's ex-husband was
He
cheating
hid
and
he hid
running
the
around
scandals
hitting,
and stuff. Yep.
yeah, hiding it and running around on the side. And Higgins kind of helped him with that, but it was also kind of his job. And then, Rebecca's like, I thought you were my friend. And eventually they forgive each other and then they become really good friends. And it's nice because Rebecca, to me at the beginning, I thought she was going to just be this massive bitch. And she is for maybe like 2 episodes, but then like her consciousness comes through. She's like, "Oh shit." Like my favorite scene in season 1 is when Trent Krim writes that article, and I think the last line is, "While I think that Ted will fail here, I can't help but root for him." And she
Oh,
like looks at
yeah.
the camera and she's like, "Oh, fuck." And then she comes clean and he's like, "I forgive you." I don't know. It's everyone, no one's perfect in the show, but
No.
everyone deals with their problems in such a mature way and handles it in a way that I find very admirable. And
Yeah.
honestly, if I were a father to like teenagers around 14, 15, I think this would absolutely be the perfect show to show them on what it
Yeah,
truly
dude.
means to be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is the right way to do it. Not necessarily Ted's way. I mean, a little bit with Ted, but all of the characters combined. Because Roy too. Roy can fuck, you know.
Yeah.
And then Nathan, who also like betrays Ted, and then he comes back and says sorry. So I don't know. I was very, very impressed with
Yeah.
it, and I was very, very happy with the show while I watched it. It was very cozy. I really enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm. I think season 4 will be. I think it'll be fine. I'm a little nervous that they had lightning in a bottle, and
Mm-hmm.
that this is it,
Mm-hmm.
because now they're switching to the women's team, and I mean, I'm just not sure how well this is going to work. I think it's going to have to be a testament to the writers. If they have good writers writing this correctly, I think it could be very good, but I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody is. I think there was so much positive reaction to the first 3 seasons, and especially the way they chose to wrap it up at the end of season 3. I
Yeah.
personally felt like they did a fantastic job of just wrapping up so many storylines really cleanly. And then so to reopen that box can feel kind of awkward and uncomfortable because it's like, I really liked where we left things. Do we need to
It,
reopen this?
yeah, the ending was so good of
Yeah.
season 3. But the problem though with any show like this, it's so cozy, it's so comfortable, and it's so warm that it's incredibly tempting to
Oh,
bring these
yeah.
characters back. It's kind of like if they were like, "Hey, do you want to make, Friends season 11?"
Yeah.
Or like a new season of Modern Family or something, these warm shows that where you don't even necessarily care about the plot or the story. You just really, really care about the characters.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's funny, a lot of people who watch this show don't know shit about soccer. I will
Yeah.
say they do softball soccer, like at the Premier League, quite a bit.
Mhm.
First of all, Ted could never. There are like rules. You remember watching the F1 movie?
Mhm.
Yeah. This is the same thing, but for soccer. None of the rules make sense. There's no way this would have worked at all. Also, Nathan becoming the head coach of West Ham United in the 3rd season, 0% chance. But it is this fictitious sort of telling of this world, and that's fine. But it is funny that the Premier League, I think the Premier League is the biggest sporting culture in the world,
Mhm.
or program in the world. I could be wrong. I think it's bigger than the NFL, man.
I know it has a boatload of fans, so I wouldn't be entirely shocked if it was.
Like
Uh,
they did a thing about this, a regular Premier League game between like Liverpool and Man City last year, 750 million viewers.
mhm.
It was like 5 times the amount that the Super Bowl's watched. I mean, and that was a regular game. It wasn't
Mhm.
even like a tourney game at all. Anyway, let's get back to the show. So what do you think of season 4 so far?
So I watched the first 2 episodes twice before we were recording this,
Mhm.
and I think I had kind of a similar reaction. I almost got deja vu watching it the second time around because I'd say the first 2 episodes on my first watch through felt a little bit like a fever dream. It was like it just felt
Like AI
weird.
did it or something?
Yeah, yeah, especially the beginning of episode 1, when Ted's in the grocery store and he's still got up to his old tricks a little bit with, the stealing and stuff, turning that kid right, so it felt like I was, just kinda dazed watching it, like, "Where are we? What are we doing?" Again, so kind of the same sentiment that I said to you before, "Why are we reopening this box? It was so neatly closed before." But
Yeah.
I think I appreciated it more on my second watch through, and I would say that I was, already warming up to it again, kinda like on that second watch through, even some of the stuff from episode 1 that I kinda cringed at before, I was already warming up to it again. It was like, this has enough redeeming qualities that I can let slide some of the stuff that would normally make me wanna turn it off.
Dude, I love your metaphor that the show is like Ted, that it takes a while and you're like, "Oh god, this fucking guy. He's like a golden retriever." he's so happy. It's like, ew, why are you
Yeah.
so happy? It's gross. But then, like, you get there and you're like, oh shit, okay, maybe this guy's living right. Um, what I was a little worried about it too was that I thought it would, since it's dealing with women's soccer and dealing with a lot of obviously feminist issues and a lot of prejudice associated with it, they don't take like the hoity toity route where they're like, this is the message about this. We're so good for doing this show on women's soccer. They have quite a few characters who are very sexist, and
Yeah.
they address that right away. Because I think
Mhm.
a lot of times with shows like this, or any time when you're trying to say something about any issue, they pretend like the issue doesn't exist. Do you know what I'm trying
Mm.
to say? Or they kind of like, let me see how to phrase this. They make the bad guy or the other side of it very, very blatantly obvious that that's wrong,
Mm. Mhm.
where it's just it just bludgeons you across the face. But with this, to me, it felt a little bit more realistic in how people actually think about women's soccer.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's a great point. I think taking a beloved character like Rebecca, who I agree with you, by the way, who is one of my favorites in the show,
Hmm.
and having her confront some of her own personal principles and judgments about women in some of
Yeah.
those early episodes, is kind of like taking a character who has her head on her shoulders and making that character sort of have a self-reflection process and question themselves as a woman. That's where I think it hits really well.
Where she's like, so in like season 3, when she goes to that meeting about the Akufu League, um, it's just men and her. And she's obviously very used to being on the other side of that. So she thinks that she cannot be on the giving side, but she is in this situation by not even looking at a female head coach. And so she's like, it completely like impacts her image of her. Yeah, it impacts her self image,
Mhm.
and it completely contradicts that. And that's why she freaks out in the second episode. I thought it was really, really funny. She's like, I'm a feminist. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Obviously. But then she clearly isn't handling the fact that she might even have some very subliminal prejudices that she can't even tell.
I thought it was so funny that she stood up in front of the press room and was like, it ended her thing with like, "Women are the future," and it's like she's over the top, trying to counterbalance the things that she's kind of acting on with some of those coaching choices and stuff, and she has to sit there and reflect, like, "Am I making these decisions with some
Hmm.
bias here?"
Hmm.
And it's so that's where I think the show is incredible. I do think they do a fantastic job at that. They take a character like that and they actually on the screen show that reflection process, you know?
And
And it
show
can
how
make you question your own stuff.
it's complicated,
Yeah.
because she wasn't even necessary. Like, was she wrong not to look for a female head coach?
I mean,
Right?
it really is tough. You have to you have to take it from a sort of a practical standpoint and think about from her perspective, was she considering all of the candidates equally? Was she really looking at, you know, who would be the best for the job? Or did she let some of her own bias or prejudice play into the decision? And it's like, it's tough to tell. It makes an audience member sit there and question it too, which is cool.
Well, I really like about any piece of art is that the artwork doesn't tell you what to think. It gives you all the options, and you have to come to that conclusion yourself.
Hmm.
And more often than not, it's this odd, murky,
There's
and
no right
nuanced,
answer.
this nuanced middle ground
Yeah.
that can be a little uncomfortable. Because she,
Hmm.
what's the other coach's name? Coach Chitton?
Chilton.
Yeah, Coach Chilton. Yes, comes and says, "Hey, did you ever even consider me as head coach?" And she goes, "No. Did you consider any woman for head coach?" And that was that moment where she's like, "Ah, shit," and
You can see her
she
swallow. She
hesitates.
says no
Yeah.
and she swallows. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
ooh, that one
Ooh,
hit.
yeah.
That hit a nerve.
Ouch. Ouch. Um, well, I also really like Rebecca with her relationship with Keeley.
Mhm.
It's so kind. I sometimes maybe wonder if we're programmed to think that women in TV shows are going to naturally be antagonistic to each other, especially an older woman and a younger one. Because when I first watched it, I assumed that's what it was going to be.
Mhm.
But that was completely wrong. They
Yeah.
become best friends. And it's really sweet and very genuine. It definitely passes the Bechdel test. The one where it's is that what it's called? Yeah, the Bechdel test is when two women talk on screen and they're not allowed. It's if two women have a conversation on screen and they're not talking about a man. That is the
Oh,
Bechdel test.
okay.
I think
That's
that's what
cool.
it's called. Looking
Okay.
it up
Well,
real
yeah.
quick.
I mean, then, yeah, they do a phenomenal job of. I mean, their relationship is incredible because you're right. Rather than being competitive, it's so supportive. Like they support each other's goals,
The
and they.
Bechdel test. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead.
there you
They
go.
support each other's goals. Yeah.
Yeah, they support each other's goals. I mean, they seem to genuinely care about, what the other one is feeling, what they're interested in. They try to, Rebecca is kind of not like a mentor figure for Keeley, but she plays that part sometimes. And then
hmm
then you'll see the reverse sometimes. Sometimes when Rebecca is struggling, when Rebecca can seem kind of lost on a decision, she turns to Keeley and they support each other that way. There's no there's no animosity, there's no competitive side. It's really just like I want the best from you, and even when it's difficult, I'm gonna do things to try to help you.
I'm going to support you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, can we talk about Roy Kent for a second?
Yeah, come on.
Because
We've got to.
he he is based on a real uh, soccer player. It's
Well,
a
yeah.
it's a soccer player. His name is Roy Keane.
Nice.
he
Okay.
played in like he played in like the 90s and early 2000s. I'll send you he has a podcast with a bunch of old soccer players, English soccer players, and I want you to watch it a little bit because he and Roy, it's crazy how similar they are. Um, but I'm glad that Roy is back in it because I, if they cut too many characters, it wouldn't feel like the same show. Obviously, they're not going to have any of the male soccer players there because I feel as if that would then take away from the women's side of this. However, having the coaching staff there, I think works pretty well. Is
Mhm.
Nathan coming back? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. And that's a good question. But I agree with everything you said. I think this season is designed to let the women's team shine. And so by bringing back some of the characters, like you said, the coaching staff,
hmm
but not making it too much about any of the returning male players' characters, I think it's a good balance to me because it feels like we're not
Yeah.
bringing too much back. We're not trying to make it too much like the first three seasons. We're kind of doing our own thing. It's a little bit of recognition from the writers thinking,
hmm
okay, we need to, if we're going to do this, if we're going to bring it back, it's got to be sort of its own thing. It's got to be able to stand alone by its own, on its own
It's
against
having
the
a
first
foot
ones.
in both doors. But again, that is so hard to pull off.
Yeah.
How can it feel like the same and different?
Hmm.
It's going to be really, really tricky. So I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. And another problem that they're going to have to face in the first three seasons, their biggest issue was helping the men's team be good at soccer. This is going to be also making the women good at soccer and also making other people care about women's soccer, which is doubly difficult.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
look at the numbers between men and women's soccer, the gap is huge.
Yeah, I was looking that up for the because since they visit Kansas City and they go to a
hmm
Kansas City Current game, I was actually curious because that experience when they show it in the episode looks like a blast. I mean, they got the
Yeah.
fireworks going for the goal. I mean, they have great attendance. I actually looked up, and truly, the Kansas City Current averages about 11,500 attendees per game, which are
Okay.
solid numbers. I mean,
That's not bad.
that's solid numbers. But you're right; they are dwarfed by the MLS team that's in Kansas City. So
Yeah. And
it's
dude,
about,
and
I think it's about
MLS,
half.
like, when it comes to MLS soccer too, like in the world, MLS soccer is kind of a joke.
Right,
So
right.
it's just again the
There's
depth to
levels.
this.
Yeah, there's levels to it. And unfortunately the women's soccer right now, even in a popular place like that, seems to be at the bottom or close to the bottom, below
This
some of the
is
other men's
this is an
sports.
uncomfortable question, but why do you think that is? Do you think that more men are interested in sports? Is that a generalization? Or are men pushed as they grow up to be more interested in their own physicality, therefore naturally more interested in sports?
Maybe
Like we're getting
that's
into sociology here a little bit. This is
yeah, it's tough. It is tough, but I think a lot of what you're saying is right. I think guys from a young age are pushed to care about sports. It's also just kind of like something that has been a societal norm for so
Mhm.
long, like that we're breaking out of it or we're attempting to, and this
Yeah.
show is a testament to that, but it is something that has kind of been established for a long time. And
Mhm.
so taking a step back that we are now and kind of looking at the full picture and saying, does this really make sense? Like, why are
Yeah.
men's sports so much more popular? But I think, in this case, for soccer, I would say the same thing. It just seems like, it's been around. Like it feels like, I don't
There's a
know,
bigger
society has
culture,
cared.
longer
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
longer history. Like it's, some of it is just honestly due to the fact that, what did they say in the show, that women haven't been allowed to play
Yeah.
soccer since,
Since
I mean,
1971.
pretty recently. That's pretty recently, dude. When
Yeah,
you
that's
think about the
astounding.
history of sports, like
Mhm.
that's it's a new player on the field still,
Good one. Good metaphor.
Yeah, well, I mean, relatively speaking. So I think that's some of the difficulty, is just that, growing interest and growing an audience for a sport can take a long time. I mean, you see
Yeah.
it across genders for sports that are up and coming. It just takes time to grow. And so a lot of what I think the show has already kind of shown to the audience here is that, like, for the locker room and stuff like that, like they have a what? It's a what is that? The academy locker room? It's like a
Yeah, it was
tiny
like
little
yeah, boys'
and
academy locker room that had
yeah.
one shower and one toilet, and
Yeah, it's
each
awful,
girl
dude.
they each had to share one bench,
Yeah.
but then only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays,
Dude,
because
it
then the academy
sucks.
player yeah, it's
It
bullshit.
sucks. It is bullshit. It is bullshit.
That
And it
locker room was actually a worse locker room than my, like, high school locker room.
Yeah, same. Same. Oh,
That's
yeah,
how
by a
bad that
mile,
was.
dude. By a mile. Yeah, same. But I think what's cool about the show is that the women's team in the show is happy to be there, because
Yeah.
they're happy to play. I think it's a cool concept to show, they appreciate what they have, even though it's not up to the standard that it should be. It's
Mhm.
absolutely not. They
Mhm.
still appreciate the opportunity to play, and
Yeah.
so, that's a cool message. That's a cool message to me.
Something that I really thought was interesting is that women tear their ACLs at a significantly higher rate than men do. And
Really?
apparently, yeah. So I could be, pulling this out of my ass here, but what I think the reason is that women's hips are wider than men's. Therefore, their femurs are at a bit more of an angle towards the knee. So therefore, there is more pressure on the knees when it comes to running and moving and turning. And it's incredible that they already talked about that a little bit,
Mhm.
because the coach, she tore her left ACL, took a year to recover. Then the first game tore her right ACL, took another year to recover. Then tore the left one again. I've torn my ACL. I tore my left ACL in 2009 playing soccer. Bro, it is a bitch of a recovery.
Yeah.
It took me 8 months of like constant work, and I was never as good. And
Mhm.
it was really frustrating, and I was never as confident on my feet again. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's absolutely insane.
it's kind of cool to think, that, like, I think I know that I probably had some personal bias, like, growing up as a kid, thinking that, like, women's sports were less, like, violent than men's, just because I think that's, like, a natural tendency. but it's
Also a
kind
bit of a
of,
stereotype.
it
Men
is a
are
bit of
considered,
stereotype. Yeah.
men are statistically more violent than women.
Right. And so it's kind of
So,
cool to hear a fact like that because it makes you think, okay, it, the women's sport is kind of almost more dangerous for them that
mhm.
way. Right.
That's
I
an
mean, it's
interesting. I didn't even quite think about it like that. That's very interesting.
like in a way, it takes more like guts and like
More
bravery
risk.
if you're taking a bigger risk with your own body,
Mhm.
doing something like this, like that you love, you're actually like fighting more adversity that way, even on the field, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a very interesting season. And I think how we're going to structure it is we're going to talk about every 2 episodes because I think Ted Lasso is it's a little lighter than House of the Dragon. I mean, House of the Dragon, we pick apart every scene because you have to. But with this, I think it's a bit more about the overarching vibe and what it's trying to tell us.
Overall
So
messages.
all
Yeah.
messages, and so I think these episodes will be a bit shorter and more. And I'm looking forward to it, man. It's actually been a pretty bright spot in my life the last couple weeks. It's been quite nice. So
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Me too.
All right, guys. Well, this is a much shorter episode, so I really appreciate it. This has been Too Much TV, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.